Prepare to have your mind blown about dog reactivity training. We're stepping into the bleeding edge of canine behavior, where the future of calm is being orchestrated not by commands, but by frequencies. Join us as we unveil the surprising and powerful impact of sound therapy on even the most challenging reactivity cases, hinting at a profound transformation that could redefine your relationship with your canine companion forever.
Wow, okay. Yeah, that's quite the intro, but it's hitting on something really important. We're talking about leash reactivity. The barking, lunging, growling.
Yeah, the stuff that makes walks stressful.
Exactly. And it's a huge deal. Estimates vary, but some figures suggest, 15%? Others go way higher. Over 40% of companion dogs might struggle with this.
That's a massive number.
It is. And the key thing to grasp, I think, is that this isn't just like bad manners. It's deeper. It's a sign of an overwhelmed nervous system, completely dysregulated.
Okay, so that explains why the usual go-to methods, desensitization and counterconditioning, DSCC or BAT, why they sometimes just don't seem to work for the really tough cases.
Right, because the foundation for all those methods is that the dog has to be under threshold.
Meaning calm enough to learn.
Basically, yeah, calm enough for the thinking part of their brain, the prefrontal cortex, to actually be online and process information. But if you've got a dog who's severely reactive, their safe distance, their threshold might be, say, 100 feet, maybe even more.
Wow.
Yeah. And in a typical neighborhood walk or a park, good luck getting that kind of distance consistently. It makes the training almost impossible to even start. You just hit a wall.
So let's break down that over-threshold stake. What's actually happening inside the dog's body that makes a piece of chicken suddenly useless? What's this physiological hijack you mentioned?
It's like flipping a switch into pure survival mode instantly.
Yeah.
Stress hormones, cortisol, norepinephrine, they just flood the dog's system.
Okay.
And the amygdala, that's the brain's emotion center, right? It basically slams the door on the prefrontal cortex, the part that handles impulse control, thinking things through.
So the dog isn't choosing to ignore the treat.
No, not at all. Their body is screaming danger in flashing red lights.
Oh.
They are physically, biologically incapable of processing that treat as a reward in that moment. Their whole system is geared towards fight or flight.
Okay, so if a dog is living like this, constantly on edge, going over threshold frequently, what's the long-term damage? It's got to be more than just ruined walks.
Oh, it absolutely takes a huge toll. Think chronic stress. The dog is constantly hypervigilant, always scanning for the next threat.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. And that constant bath of stress hormones, it lowers their overall quality of life. It can suppress their immune system, make them more prone to getting sick. And it often spills over into other anxiety issues, separation anxiety, maybe becoming really sensitive to noises. There's a whole constellation of problems stemming from that dysregulated state.
And let's be real, it's incredibly hard on the owners, too. That feeling of shame, maybe, or embarrassment when your dog erupts, dreading just going outside, it can feel really isolating.
Totally. And it's not just anecdotal. There's data showing owners of dogs with significant behavior issues report much higher levels of anxiety themselves.
I believe it.
Yeah, it can become this feedback loop.
Yeah.
The owner gets anxious, anticipating the reaction. The dog picks up on that anxiety.
Yeah.
And it just spirals. It's draining for everyone involved.
Okay, so we're going to get into how sound therapy might help break that cycle. But first, it's crucial to remember this is an add-on, right? Not a magic bullet. What are the absolute must-haves, the foundations of good humane reactivity work that need to be in place?
Great point. Yeah, absolutely essential. Think of it like building a house. You need the foundation first. So,
Yeah.
Number one, strict management, avoiding triggers, maybe walking at quiet times, using gear that helps you manage, basically preventing the reaction from happening in the first place.
Keeping them under threshold as much as possible.
Exactly. Then, number two, systematic DSCC. Carefully controlled exposure where the trigger starts to predict something amazing, like super high-value treats. Trigger means good stuff happens. Number three, teaching and rewarding alternate behaviors. Things like looking at you or doing a quick U-turn away from the trigger, giving them something else to do.
Makes sense.
Fourth pillar, tons of enrichment and relaxation work at home. Things like food puzzles, scent work, maybe practicing something like Karen Overall's protocol for relaxation, building calmness away from triggers.
Right.
And finally, fifth, especially for those severe cases, veterinary consultation. Sometimes medication support is needed just to lower that baseline anxiety enough for the dog's brain to be receptive to the behavior modification work, to lower that set point.
Got it. So management, DSCC, alternate behaviors, enrichment, and vet consults. Those are the core.
Non-negotiable.
So all those focus on managing the environment or teaching new behaviors. But you're saying there's this internal state, this physiological storm.
Exactly. And that's where the current methods sometimes struggle. They can't directly dial down that internal chaos. That's the gap.
And that's where bioacoustic therapy steps in. But, I mean, let's be honest, sound therapy can sound a bit woo-woo to some people. How is this different from just like playing some Mozart for your dog?
Yeah, I get that skepticism. But this is really different. It's not just playing pleasant music. It's highly specific. Bioacoustic therapy uses purpose-built compositions, specific frequencies, designed to directly influence the autonomic nervous system.
So it's working on a physiological level, not just an emotional one.
Precisely. It's bypassing the conscious thought process and aiming straight for the body's regulatory systems.
And dogs are particularly sensitive to sound anyway, right? With their amazing hearing.
Extremely sensitive. Their hearing range goes way higher than ours, up to maybe 45,000 hertz, which is great for hearing a squirrel from far away. But
Well, it's great for garbage trucks and city noise.
you got it. That sensitivity makes them really vulnerable to auditory stress in our noisy human world.
Okay, so the dog's freaking out, sympathetic nervous system is in overdrive. How does playing a specific sound actually calm them down? What's the mechanism?
It hinges on the vagus nerve. Think of the vagus nerve as this huge information superhighway connecting the brain to the gut, the heart, other major organs. It's central to the whole stress response system.
Okay.
In reactive dogs, the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight part, the gas pedal, it's basically stuck in the on position, chronically activated.
Right.
What these specialized sound protocols aim to do is stimulate the parasympathetic system, the rest and digest part, the brakes, directly via that vagus nerve.
Interesting. So it's like using sound to manually apply the brakes.
That's a great way to put it. And this ties into things like the polyvagal theory, which looks at different states within that nervous system.
How is polyvagal theory being adapted here? Are we talking specific kinds of sounds?
Yeah, it's getting really sophisticated. We're often talking about filtered sound protocols.
Yeah.
They specifically emphasize lower, more soothing frequencies. The idea is to bypass the brain's threat detection system, the part that hears a sudden high-pitched noise and triggers alarm.
So lower sounds feel safer.
They seem to. And crucially, these lower frequencies appear to activate what's called the ventral vagal complex. That's the part of the vagus nerve system associated with feeling safe, calm, socially engaged. You're essentially sending a nonverbal, all-clear signal directly to the dog's nervous system.
Wow. And this isn't just guesswork. You can actually measure the effects.
Absolutely.
No problem.
This is where it gets really compelling because we can see objective changes. We look for things like a decrease in the dog's baseline heart rate.
Okay.
Even more importantly, an increase in heart rate variability, or HRV. Higher HRV is a key sign of a well-regulated, flexible nervous system that can adapt to stress rather than getting stuck.
So more variability is good.
Yes, it means the system isn't rigid. We can also measure lower cortisol levels, the stress hormone and saliva or blood samples. That's concrete proof of reduced physiological stress. And sometimes you can even see shifts in brainwave activity towards calmer alpha states.
So actual physiological proof that the system is calming down, becoming more adaptable.
Okay, let's talk specifics. What kind of frequencies are we talking about? I've heard about solfeggio frequencies.
Yeah, those are getting a lot of attention. They're based on ancient tonal scales. For instance, 432 hertz, sometimes called the nature frequency. It seems to promote a sense of grounding, safety, good for general anxiety, or just helping a dog settle during rest times.
Okay, 402 for general calm. What else?
Then there's 528 hertz. It's often associated with things like cellular repair, sometimes called the love frequency. You might see this used for dogs with a history of significant trauma or really prolonged high stress, trying to facilitate deeper healing.
And is there one specifically for fear, like during a training session?
396 hertz is linked to reducing fear and guilt. Obviously, we're focusing on the fear aspect for dogs. So yeah, you might use 396 hertz specifically during those controlled DSCC sessions when you're working near a trigger, but still under threshold. Interesting. But it's not just the frequency, right? You mentioned the composition matters too. How do they design this music so it doesn't accidentally stress the dog out?
Right, it's psychoacoustics. They're very deliberate about the soundscape. Often they use reduced orchestration, maybe just solo piano or simple strings. Too many instruments playing at once can be overwhelming for a sensitive dog.
Simpler is better.
Generally, yes. And the tempo is key. They often keep it very slow, maybe around 60 to 7 beats per minute, deliberately mirroring a dog's typical resting heart rate. That slow, steady rhythm can have a powerful entrainment effect, helping to slow the dog's internal rhythm down. Lower frequencies are emphasized too, avoiding those sharp high pitches that can trigger alarm.
Let's make this concrete. Tell us about the example of Jax, the German Shepherd mix you mentioned. He was severely reactive, level 5. Why did sound therapy work when other things hadn't?
Jax is a fantastic case study. His trigger threshold was just huge, over 100 feet, totally unmanageable for typical training walks. So they started incorporating a daily 30-minute session of low-frequency sound therapy. Played really quietly, barely audible.
Okay, 30 minutes a day, what happened?
The key observation was a measurable drop in his baseline heart rate, just as everyday resting state became calmer.
And what did that change mean for his actual training?
It was the game changer. That slightly lower baseline arousal meant his trigger threshold shrank. Suddenly, his owner could work with him at around 50 feet from a trigger, and he could stay under threshold.
Wow, cut the distance in half.
Pretty much. And that meant the DSCC protocols finally started working. The sound therapy didn't magically cure his reactivity, but it created the necessary physiological calm, the internal bandwidth, for the training to actually take effect. His owner said it was like an internal volume knob had been turned down.
That's a powerful image. Okay, so if someone listening wants to try this, how do they integrate it effectively? What are the key practical steps?
Let's break it down into 3 main pillars. The goal is consistency and being proactive. First, pre-training priming.
Priming.
Yeah, like getting the system ready. Play the chosen calming sound, maybe that 432 hertz music for about 15 minutes before you even head out the door or before any event you know is stressful for your dog.
So setting the stage for calm before the stress hits?
Exactly. You're trying to proactively activate that parasympathetic brake system, turning the volume down preemptively.
Okay, pre-prime for 15 minutes. What's pillar 2?
Second, use the sound as a contextual cue during the walk itself. Get a small, decent quality portable speaker, keep the volume low, and play the calming frequency while you're out training.
Like creating a little bubble of calm.
That's a perfect way to think of it, an auditory safety bubble. It acts as this constant, nonverbal signal of safety. The idea is it helps inhibit that reactive cascade from starting as you get closer to a trigger.
Makes sense. And the third pillar, you mentioned sleep earlier.
Right. Pillar 3 is the nightly nervous system reset. Sleep is absolutely critical for nervous system recovery. So playing very low volume calming music, or maybe something like brown noise, which is deeper than white noise overnight. Why brown noise? It can help mask sudden environmental sounds, a door slamming, a car backfiring that might otherwise startle the dog awake or spike their arousal. The goal is deeper, more restorative sleep, which helps lower that chronic stress level day after day.
Pre-prime safety bubble, nightly reset. Got it. Looking ahead, this seems like it could get even more sophisticated. You mentioned wearables.
Oh yeah, the future's pretty exciting here. Imagine wearable biometric devices, smart collars, that continuously track things like heart rate variability, HRV.
So real-time data on the dog's stress level.
Exactly. Instead of just guessing if your dog's getting stressed, the collar could potentially alert you before they actually cross that threshold based on subtle dips in their HRV.
Wow, that would be incredible.
And the next step, maybe integrated treatment loops. The wearable detects rising stress.
And automatically plays a burst of the dog's personalized calming frequency.
Precisely, a closed-loop system that responds in real time, faster than a human could even notice the signs. It's moving towards truly personalized preventative regulation.
It really does shift the focus, doesn't it? From just managing the outward behavior to actively tuning the internal state. But we have to repeat the caution. This isn't a replacement for good training and management.
Absolutely critical reminder. This is an adjunct therapy. It works with, not instead of, the established humane protocols, the management, the DSCC, the vet consults.
And the volume thing is crucial too, right?
It's hugely important. If you crank it up too loud, you risk auditory overload. You could actually make the dog more stressed and anxious. The rule of thumb, it should be barely audible to you, the owner. If it's loud to you, it's way too loud for your dog.
Okay. Barely audible. Got it. This is really promising stuff. Let's try and boil this all down. What are the top most important takeaways for someone listening who's dealing with reactivity? All right, let's summarize. Here are the top 5 actionable tips you can implement right now. 1. Prioritize physiological calm. First things first, shift your mindset. Your dog isn't giving you a hard time. They're having a hard time. Focus on that internal state of fear. Use sound as a tool to create the mental space needed for training to actually work.
Change the internal state first.
Experiment with targeted frequencies. Don't just play anything. Start maybe with that 432 hertz solfeggio tone, or look into psychoacoustically designed music like the stuff from Through a Dog's Ear. Then, watch your dog closely. Look for relaxation signs, yawning, sighing, maybe deeper sleep, or signs it's not working, lip licking, pacing, trying to leave the room. It might take some experimenting to find what works for your dog.
Yeah, customization is definitely key.
3. Implement the 15-minute pre-prime. Make it a routine. Before walks, before visitors come over, before a car ride, any known stressor, play their chosen calming sound in their safe space for at least 15 minutes. Set them up for success by activating that calm state beforehand.
Proactive is better than reactive.
4. Create an auditory safety bubble. Get that small, portable speaker. Keep the volume low, remember, barely audible. Use it during your training walks. Let that consistent sound become an anchor, a nonverbal cue that helps inhibit the reactivity as you work near triggers.
That constant signal of safety.
5. Seek certified expertise. Seriously, don't try to tackle complex reactivity all by yourself. Find a professional, a board-certified veterinary behaviorist, DAACVB, or a certified trainer, like a CPD-TKA, who uses positive, force-free methods. They can help you figure out the whole picture and integrate sound therapy safely and effectively into a proper behavior plan.
Yeah, professional guidance is crucial. This is one piece of the puzzle. It really does feel like a fundamental shift, though, doesn't it? We're moving beyond just managing the barking and lunging and starting to actually recalibrate the nervous system itself, getting to the root cause, that internal set point of anxiety.
Wow.
It feels like, well, like a quieter kind of revolution in how we help these dogs, offering a path to maybe deeper, more lasting healing.
It really does. So here's a little challenge for you listening. Before you even press play on any calming track, try being a data geek for a week. Just observe. Maybe try to feel your dog's resting heart rate when they're truly relaxed. Notice how deeply they sleep, how easily they startle. Just get a baseline. Then, try implementing maybe the pre-prime or the nightly reset for a week or two, using a specific frequency, and track again. Start looking at the data yourself. It could be the key to finally unlocking that calm you and your dog both deserve.